Hello everyone, welcome to this video on JavaScript variables. My name is Amy Holt. I am a 1706 front-end alum. I used to teach both front-end and back-end, but now I mainly work on try-coding, and I still really do love fighting with JavaScript. If you need any help with any of the content covered in this, feel free to reach out to me on Slack. My handle is AimZ, and we are going to get into it. Today we are going to cover the syntax for declaring and reassigning variables, using different data types with variables, and using both the node console and the REPL.it interface. And we'll start with using the node console. So I have opened up my terminal application and I have my command prompt up. You can see that I'm here in my home directory at the root. You can actually do this though from wherever you're currently navigated to. So it doesn't matter if you're in your Mod 0 projects or if you're at your root or if you're in a personal directory. We can enter node from anywhere. So we'll start by typing in node and hitting return. And you'll see that now my prompt looks a little bit different. I now just see this little right angle bracket pointing and then to my cursor. And this lets me know I'm kind of in this node environment. Node is what runs JavaScript. And so we can write JavaScript here to kind of practice and play around with variables. So when you want to declare a new variable, we always want to start with the var keyword. And then after that, we will include the name of the variable we want to declare. So in true form, this is going to be all about my dogs. So var dog, the equal sign, we're actually going to call that the assignment operator. And then on the right side of the assignment operator is where we'll provide the data that we want to be stored in this variable. And my dog's name is Oscar. And I'll end that line with a semicolon and then hit return. I get back undefined because the return value of this variable declaration is technically undefined, but I can now call my variable. And when I say call, I mean essentially we'll type the word and hit return, so kind of ask the program for it. It says, oh yeah, we do have the value of Oscar stored in the dog variable. So don't be alarmed when you see that undefined there. So I can define as many variables as I want with the same kind of syntax, and then ask back for other dog by calling that variable, and I can see that value. I can also reassign my variable, so instead of including the var keyword, I will just directly reassign the dog variable and change it to Oscar the Grouch. And now if I call back dog, I see that it's Oscar the Grouch. And so any kind of recollection of the fact that the string used to equal or hold the value of Oscar is now gone, and the dog variable always stores the value of Oscar the Grouch. So that's reassignment. We can also interpolate two strings. So let's create another variable called toy, which is assigned to the string of hedgehog. That's Oscar's favorite toy. And now I have toy and I have dog. Okay, so again, just calling these variables to kind of double check with myself what I have. I can create a sentence. So I can create a new variable called sentence. And I'll use backticks here. That's the key right above your tab key at the very far left kind of corner of your keyboard. And inside of that, I'll use this interpolation syntax. So $ curly brace dog loves to play with his $ curly brace toy. And hit return. We get back undefined because the declaration itself returns undefined. That's okay, but now I'll call the sentence variable. And that sentence variable now stores this one string of Oscar the Grouch loves to play with his hedgehog. So we combined the string with two variables. We can also assign our variables to hold any other data type. So Oscar is 9 years old, so I could assign the age variable or declare an age variable and assign it to 9. Okay, can call that. I can do some work with numbers, so I could say var human age is assigned to age times 7 and call the human age variable. And I get back 63, so I can perform some math operations on those numbers. I can also store booleans in variables. So var loves to play is true. I notice I don't put quotes around true since it's a boolean. And if I call loves to play, I get true back. And the last one is I can hold arrays in my variables. So if I want an array of friends, so a list of multiple strings, can say Oscar is friends with Sodi, Ruck, and Mason. And if I call the friends variable, I now see that list, that array that I get back. And so again, that's how we'll use the node console to kind of play around and test things out. You may be wondering, how do you get out of this thing? That's a great question. You can hit Control-C, and then this message pops up. To exit, press Control-C again, or type .exit. So I can use Control-C again to get out. If I enter again and then type in .exit, it'll take me out immediately. So Control-C twice or .exit once. And I now want to take just 1 minute to walk you through how you could do the same exercise, but in a REPL. And so from the REPL.it website, make sure you're logged into your account. You'll start by clicking New REPL, select JavaScript as the language, and you can name the file whatever you'd like. Click Create REPL. Oh, I already have one. Variables, May 4th. All right, and it'll open up a file like this for you. This looks a little bit different, but essentially we'll be able to do the same thing. So I'll type my code over here on the left side of the page. So var dog is Oscar, and var age is assigned to the number 8. And so notice this is more like a code file that we can actually type into and then run all at once, versus in the node console it was kind of just one thing at a time. When I run this file, nothing is coming out because I've declared these variables, but they're kind of just hanging out in space. So I may want to console log my dog variable and console log my age variable, and then run the file again. And now I'll see the values print out, Oscar and 8. Inside of my console log, if I wanted to, I can console log more than one thing at a time. So separating each item with a comma. Click Run, and now I'll see Oscar and 8 show up on the same line. And so again, same ideas, same technical concepts, just kind of interacting with it in a different way. When you're on REPL, make sure to click this Run button every time you change your code, because it won't be like live updating or watching if you're making changes. And then just following your errors too. So if you run into something maybe like you misspell a variable name that you're trying to console log, this will look really scary at first, a lot of red. Scroll all the way up. And what I notice here is it says reference error doog is not defined. So it's trying to help me. This may not feel super helpful right now, but it's trying to say like you're using this as like a JavaScript defined value and I don't know about it. And if I look back, it's because I was trying to reference dog but typed doog. Okay, so little things, check your errors. Don't be scared if you see some red over here. It's okay. You're not going to blow it up. All right, this was your very brief intro on variables. I hope y'all have some fun with it. Thanks.